What's the relationship between the police and the community in the Fillmore district of San Francisco? I chose this topic because I've heard many unfortunate stories from around the neighborhood. A lot of people saying that the police treat them unfairly. So I decided to investigate for myself. I started by doing research online. The Northern Station, which is the police district for the Fillmore, recently released a video talking about how the Fillmore is becoming safer and showed a foot patrol of them being very friendly with passerbys and shop owners. But I knew they were posting that online hoping that it represented them, but I wanted to uncover the real truth. And only with a little bit of research, I found many news stories and articles in the newspaper describing a lot of crime and violence in the Fillmore district, even though the police video said otherwise. Only 3 days after the police released their video, there was a triple shooting only 3 blocks from the police station at 7 o'clock at night. So with this information, I realized that the police were not being truthful, but that didn't completely answer my question because I didn't know what the people of the community were actually thinking. So I decided the only way I could find out what they're feeling is to ask them myself. So I went to the hub of my community. It's a corner store run by 2 friendly brothers, one named Ty, one named AK. I actually used Ty in a school project last year, and he was very charming. But this time I chose AK, his brother, to help me out. I went down there at night to get a few interviews because there's usually people hanging out around there. No one wanted to be on camera. A few people told me what they thought about the police, but did not want to be recorded, their face or audio. The only person that agreed to have their face on video was this guy.
Out here, what? What's up with it? 1400 block, Baker Street, bro. What's up with it? You already know what it is. That's out here, blood.
So obviously, it didn't really go to plan. Then a familiar face from my community told me this. He said that the police have too much power and it's up to them to choose who goes to jail and who doesn't. And they usually choose that on race. He didn't want me putting his face on video. He didn't even want me recording his voice. So I assume I shouldn't say his name. But the information he said was very helpful. Then another guy in my neighborhood agreed for his audio to be recorded. I said that was fine and he said this.
I would say the relationship between the police and the community is bad due to the location where we at, and how we are looked at as a black neighborhood, always thinking there's violence to this community and thinking there's always crime happening around here. At the location where we at, I'll say it's bad with the relationship with the police.
I found that very interesting. Those were the only interviews I got that night. I went home and I realized that wasn't enough. So I went back to the store and I got 2 more interviews. One from AK and one from his Uncle Dave. His Uncle Dave said this.
The relationship between the police and the community is stressed for various reasons. Number one, the black man has been kept down by the white man for as long as they've been free. So they've had a tough time coming up, tough time getting to today, and the cops always kind of targeted them because their areas were more prone to crime and other means of revenue besides, good jobs and taxes and all that. They were kept down by the man for a long time. And that's why they're stressed in some of the ethnic communities in the Bay Area. But the cops have a job to do, and they got to do them, and they don't get much help from the community because the community is scared of them for good reason, because a lot of them are brutal, and they write the rules as they go along, and they lie, and so people are weary of the police.
Then with a different perspective as everyone else, AK said this.
What's up, y'all? The relationship I have with the police and the community, I can't speak for everyone else, but I can speak for myself. I'm a businessman. I own my own store. I go to work. I don't sell drugs, and I don't do nothing illegal, so I don't worry about the police. But other motherfuckers that's doing illegal shit, selling drugs and shit, those are people that do worry about the police, and they're the ones that complain about them because they the motherfuckers that's doing some dirty shit. So that's it.
Throughout this project, I attempted to interview around 20 people, with only 3 of them wanting their face to be on video. A lot of them said the reason they didn't want their face to be on video is because of fear that the police would see it, which is clear to me that the relationship is not very good if the community is fearful that the police will see them being critical and target them for that. There is obvious work that needs to be done with the relationship between the police and the community in the Fillmore district. Thank you very much.